We have waited a long time for this to happen. The third meeting between the St. Anthony's Friars and the Northport Huntington Tigers in what should be an all-out battle to the end. Michael Andrew here, ready to bring you the action on the call. High above the rink here at Socrates, New York. Frigid and cold outside just as it is up on top of the bleachers. And fortunately for us, we are warm and cozy in the friendly confines of this little house just on the far end in St. Anthony's zone. The Friars have already taken down one opponent this weekend in the John Jay Patriots, backed by a dominating display of scoring and playmaking by Brady Monteleone. Now we'll wait to see what they have in store against the team who was challenged. Yes, challenged to the ultimate end. The Northport Huntington Tigers beating the East Islip Chiefs in their opening contest of this year's tournament by a final of 4-3 in overtime on a Michael Meyer wrister to seal the deal. And these two teams know a thing or two about overtimes. St. Anthony's alone being in 4, the most out of any in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League regular season. And oddly enough, 3 of the 4 overtimes that they've been featured in during that regular season are teams that are up here in this same tournament. Not to mention, if you want to count the... I'm trying to think. No, there was not an overtime. There was close to being an overtime in the finals. And boy, oh boy, would that have been wild. Northport Huntington, on the other hand, has only been in one sudden death hockey game this year, and there you see their opponents who took them to the very end. St. Anthony's looked like they were going to go home that night with a big 4-1 victory, and all of a sudden, the Northport Huntington Special Teams unit took aim at the Friars' Ryan Burhart in a mighty way, led by goals from Carmine Patelli and then Jack Brecklin. And just before you knew it, Blake Hansen was going to have a big moment of his own. And boy, did he deliver in a huge way. Warm-ups about to conclude, and we'll see you when the puck drops right here on the LI Sports Network. The head coaches, Michael Porcello and Robert Lund, instill one last motivational strategy in their players before we get this contest underway. And it will begin with St. Anthony's top line, aka the Rebels squad. Jack DeLugos, the captain, Nicholas DeAndrea on the left wing, Gavin Cotta on the right wing. While Northport Huntington start off with Carmine Patelli at the face-off draw, and we are underway. A battle between the Suffolk County High School Hockey League champions and the Suffolk County High School Hockey League regular season champions. The third meeting between the two begins with Patelli getting a chance on goal that was denied by Berhardt. Sean Tittle down low, taking the task right there was Patelli by Rowan. This one is angled in front, but it was intercepted by Rowan, who then floats it ahead to that man Cotta. Gavin Cotta taking this one on the wing, tried to create some separation as he slammed on the brakes, but it's the Tigers who get a hold of the possession now, but it's tossed back into the hands of the Friars, and it's dumped in by Castiglione, who makes his first appearance on the ice tonight. DeAndrea trying to pinch in there and get a hold of the possession as this one is jammed back ahead. Brady Monteleone off the heels of a hat trick, trying to storm his way into an opening minute goal. Another chance, and this one trickles wide of the cage. St. Anthony's maintains control of it inside the zone. Jablonski steers it into the corner, and now it's handled on a stick. Monteleone tried the turnaround fadeaway try, and that one did reach the net, but it didn't get in the back of the goal. So Northport Huntington gets an opportunity to strike here. Derek Mackholt's backhand chance denied that time right there by Berhardt. St. Anthony's sends this one back down to the corner boards where Tyler Paragala will reset for the Tigers. George Chuico knifes it onto the stick of that man Mackholtz. Another Long Island Royals product, couldn't steer that one into the centering position where Bradley Gray is at, and this goes for icing. So we know where these two teams left off entering this tournament. Northport Huntington stunned and in disbelief, while the Friars were jubilated and in euphoria, winning their first title in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League in over a decade. And one could say this could just be the first of two meetings in this tournament between these two heavily powered squads. The first matchup saw an exciting battle from beginning to end. Northport Huntington coming back from a 3-goal deficit and finishing off the Friars, tying with them 4-4, which was settled in sudden death overtime. The second time around, it wasn't anything like the first meeting, that's for sure. It was all Northport Huntington and their mighty offense, led by two-way power defenseman Michael Meyer, who picked up a pair of goals that night. And oddly enough, Meyer is one of the reasons why Northport Huntington has a lot of mojo going into this matchup, as he scored the big overtime goal earlier today against the East Islip Chiefs, who put up a tremendous fight against the #1 seeded Tigers here today on day one of the tournament. This one's tossed back into the end boards and just missed the glove hand of Berhardt, who tried to make the play. Meanwhile, Tigers get close towards the net. Hansen almost stuffing that one home. Blake Hansen led the team with the most goals and most points, and just behind him, but not by much, was Carmine Patelli, a former PAL Junior Islanders superstar. St. Anthony's getting close to the goal. Angel Spinelli is able to shut the door on the Friars that time. Colavecchio able to knife it behind the goal and able to track it down right there was Regiak, as Monteleone throws a hit against his opponent in the end boards. Oamia trying to keep it inside the zone, which it does. Monteleone ran into traffic as Patelli attempts to take off, and he gets past Rowan. Patelli driving hard to the goal, and he couldn't get the job done right there, but there you see the elegance, grace, and all-out excellence of Carmine Patelli being manifested right there as he came in a hurry, almost potting the first goal for the Tigers here in the first period. And Patelli is taking the draw against Brady Monteleone. Talk about star power. This one is laid along the half wall, but it couldn't be dealt onto the stick of a Tiger, and it goes out of play. There you see Blake Hansen, alternate captain, one of the impending senior graduates, is looking to leave high school hockey with a title under his belt. Found a lot of success in his travel hockey playing days, and it seemed like it was going to be heading towards that direction when it came to high school hockey in his senior year campaign, after they came very close the last couple of years winning a championship, and this one may have been their best shot, and look out there in the end boards. Nicholas DeAndrea got plastered into the wall, and he's heavily shaken up. Now we'll see if this will need any attention from the medical staff, and it does not look like that will be the case, as DeAndrea is able to skate away under his own power, and that's good news for the Friars, because Nicholas DeAndrea is one of the players you don't want to be missing. He is one of the consistent goal-scoring playmakers that has provided a lot of energy for the Friars, not to mention that he was the one that kick-started today's dominating win over John Jay by scoring the first goal of the game. Literally, minutes into the first. Jablonski. Here's Tittle. Tittle tried to wheel it on goal, but to no avail as it was blocked in front. Another chance at the top, and this one skittered off his stick, and it goes into the corner. Patelli will try to set something up down low, but instead he relinquishes it into the hands of Smith, who throws the big reversal hit on Blake Hansen. Castiglione trying to gather it as he's in a heavy battle with Patelli, who almost stuffed it right there in front for Hansen to jam home. It's kept alive by the Tigers, and it couldn't be deflected home right there by Hansen. He'll head to the bench for a line change, as this is carried in the other way by Gavin Cotta, and he's smushed to the ice by Jack Brecklin, and he came very close to getting sandwiched by Eric Kraft, who came into the picture late. And here comes Derek Mackholt, another aggressive force for the Tigers. Trying to use his heavy body and intensity to benefit the Tigers. And there you see Ryan Burhart showing what he's made of with the glove save against Michael Meyer. So we already have an idea of who's going to be in net for the better half of these tournaments. Ryan Burhart, the playoff MVP, in between the pipes for the Friars, and all the way down the other end, it's Angel Spinelli getting the nod to start a net over impending senior graduate Aiden Donnelly. As this one bounces around inside the Tiger zone, and it couldn't be dealt cleanly on the stick of Sipley, and he's got to race back and try to reset cleanly. And instead, it's Cochran who relinquishes it to Kieran Motherway, who throws the shoulder on Cochran, and Northport Huntington will give it back. Or I should say Cochran relinquishes it back into the hands of the Tigers to try to get another scoring opportunity to go. This one is popped across. And it'll be sent in deeper by the Tigers. Both head coaches rolling the lines. Vincent Sipley able to push this one down to the other end of the playing surface. It'll go for icing. There you see Angel Spinelli. And coincidentally, that's where he made a name for himself. In that game against St. Anthony's, when they tied it 4-4 and went to sudden death, Angel Spinelli was making ridiculous saves in ways that you can't even imagine. The kid is very athletic. He's got a lot of confidence, and if you have a chance, and if I have the chance to tell you the story about his upbringing, how he's gotten to this position, I would, because it's worth listening to. This kid is a tremendous goaltender, and he's hoping to have an even better result when this tournament is all said and done, as it seemed like Northport Huntington was going to reign supreme as the rulers of the county up until they met defeat at the hands of Connecticut Sayville in a big way. John Tittle knocked his man down, and he loses his stick in the process. So, luckily for Tittle, play is stopped for offsides, and although play gets stopped, Tittle didn't pick up his stick. Now he goes to retrieve the lost item, and with 8.5 to go, we'll have another draw just outside the blue line, and it'll be between Jack DeLugos, the captain of the Friars, and Derek Mackholtz. Mackholtz collides with Castiglione. That one almost got banged home from a tough angle by Bradley Gray. Shot, score! Snipe City, Derek Mackholtz. For someone who plays with guys like Patelli and Hansen, you would think Derek Mackholtz has the same amount of goals as those two with a release like that. And there's the story right now: 1-0 Northport Huntington over their rival counterparts, and Mackholtz provides the energy. Just about close to 8 minutes or so of hockey that's been played, and so Mackholtz gives his team the edge by striking first with that goal in close quarters of Ryan Burhart. Despite Mackholtz being hit with 26 penalty minutes, or taking 26 penalty minutes this season, he is proven to be a key player in moments like these, scoring 12 goals, registering 15 assists, and that goes for a combined total of 27 points. As I mentioned, if your teammates aren't Hansen, Patelli, and Meyer, no doubt Mackholtz is standing alone at the top in that category, but you can't deny the fact that this kid has guts. He has the flair for big moments, and also too, he's got an edge to his game, similar to guys like Chris Cetera, similar to guys like I lost my train of thought as one of the Friars took an aim right there, Angel Spinelli, after the shot was taken. But you need to have guys with an edge, especially in a playoff atmosphere, because if there's one thing about playoff hockey, it gets rough. It gets rough, it gets emotional, and that is like the biggest challenge when you're a player out on the ice. That's literally what's standing between you and a championship, is your emotions and your discipline. You need to be. This is something I talked about with Jack Gregg when he was with me on the call. This is the time where you need to keep your emotions in check, and playoff hockey tests that in the ultimate way. And we saw it come into effect when St. Anthony's played Chaminade. It looked like a St. Anthony's team we never even saw before. After what they've done this season, becoming the champions, they fell flat to the Flyers of Chaminade, losing by a final 5-2. Patelli missing that chance. So there's the trends right there between these two high-powered squads. And there's a shot from the top, rebound, score! Blake Hansen finds the back of the nets, and it's 2-0. Beat goes on for Northport Huntington. However, there is a argument trying to be made here from head coach Robert Lund, as he thought maybe there may have been some interference in front. But we're not going to ponder on that. We're just going to move forward here as Blake Hansen notches home another goal in his playoff repertoire. The last time and coincidentally enough, Blake Hansen was the last goal scorer in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League season for the Tigers, if you recall, in those late moments of their semifinal battle against Connecticut Sayville. And there's going to be a change in scenery here, and it's Northport Huntington committing the first penalty of the contest. And we'll see who will be going to the sin bin, and
he had no reason to hit that kid.
There's your answer. Derek Mackholtz, goal, a penalty, and he may be sitting for a while as Eric Kraft joins him in the box, which we presume is him sitting on behalf of Mackholtz for the initial 2-minute call, and Mackholtz will stay put for the additional 10-minute misconduct. So, and once again, another Friar got laid into the end boards in that very familiar location where Mackholtz threw the hit against whoever was on the receiving end for St. Anthony's. So after a hot start for Northport Huntington, scoring 2 unanswered goals, we're starting to see a little bit of their emotions getting unraveled here, and that's not what you want to see in a game like this. DeLugos powering through, the man that scored the championship clinching goal in the third period against Connecticut Sayville in Game 3 of the finals. Dylan Smith, Arrows product. Tried to slide it past Patelli to no avail as the Tigers are able to get the clear. Cata lays it onto the stick, or tried to lay it onto the stick cleanly of Rowan. As Carmine Patelli is doing everything in his right to change that up. As Smith is able to gain the zone once again. Dylan Smith got forced off the puck as DeLugos gets the feedback. DeLugos gets a shot off, but it misses wide of the net. Rowan hurrying there, but not in time to keep it inside the zone, as St. Anthony's will reset again with 20 seconds left on the man advantage. Brady Monteleone able to track it down as he has heavy company on his back, courtesy of Michael Meyer, the man that scored the overtime game winner earlier today for the Tigers against East Islip. Ryan Burhart warning the returning man out of the penalty box, and we skate 5 aside once again. Northport Huntington looking to go the other way. And here comes Savaglio in. Stopped that time by Burhart. Similar to KPC, this Northport Huntington team is loaded with talent and superstars all over the place. From Blake Hansen to Carmine Patelli to Angel Spinelli, to a stacked defense consisting of Michael Meyer, Jack Brecklin, and Tyler Paragallo. Castiglione tried to get a hold of it, as this is Jablonski now with the possession. Jablonski plays it ahead, and now Colavecchio tries to cut through the middle, and this results in Kraft dumping it back into the zone, so it's the Friars starting back from square one in this little sequence, as this cascades over the glass and out of play. So with 2:20 to go, we'll have a face-off draw just to the left of Burhart. And there you see the captain, Jack Brecklin. If there's one man that wanted to be in Jack DeLugos' position the most, it's that man right there, Captain Jack. Hard hit thrown, and Tyler Paragallo showed no mercy against Gregiak with that heavy hit. St. Anthony's returns the favor as they get physical. And then another hit is thrown by Paragallo as he plowed into his man in the end boards. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first. Eric Kraft pushed off the puck entering the zone, but offsides was called before the hit was thrown. However, no harm, no foul, as neither team will be penalized.
Hey, Jeff, I told the little kid, ask him for his autograph. I pointed to you.
So an eventful first period for Ryan Burhart, but not in the way you want to be if you're in his position. However, he's had a few stops since those 2 goals got past him. And that could definitely give the Friars some energy, as Patelli is able to get a chance on net, but it didn't reach the goal. Alamia, with 1.5 to go, is trying to push out of harm's way, as this one is wrapped around the boards, but not fully out. It's kept alive by the Tigers. And back down low, Rowan finds himself dealing with the pressure of Tittle, as Meyer couldn't keep that one inside the zone. Gavin Cotta will attempt to race it down before Meyer can get to it, and there he does win that race. St. Anthony's positioning himself in a good position. Score! The Friars are on the board. Nicholas D'Andrea. A roof job by number 10 ends the shutout bid for Angel Spinelli. And there is no one that's more fired up on that St. Anthony's squad than Nicholas DeAndrea. The team leader in points for the school this year with 41 combined total points in 24 combined total games, has yet again scored the first of many for the Friars here up in Saugerties, New York. Vaughn Martin trucked to the ice right there by Brady Monteleone, and now we have Vaughn Martin heavily shaken up. Rowan flips this one back towards the goal, and it pops off the body. Spinelli looked like he was going to try to cover it up. Instead, it's the Friars who keep it alive inside the Tiger zone. With 5 seconds to go, the battle will culminate in the boards. That does it for one. We head to the second. 2-1 the score. Tigers on top. And we'll head to the second very soon. An emotionally charged Robert Lund tries to fire up his boys here for these next 17 minutes of hockey, down by a goal. And the goal was provided once again by DeAndrea, who kick-started the first barrage of goals earlier this morning against John Jay. And we'll see if that angry message connects with the minds of his players as we get the second period started. Savaglio taking this one in the end boards, trying to protect it on his forehand. He's able to deal it onto the stick of Hansen. Hansen lays it onto the stick of Patelli. Patelli, curl and drag attempt is negated for going offside. So We've seen what Carmine Patelli can do when he has the puck on his stick, when he crosses into the Friars zone. And in more ways than one, we can only say it's simply spectacular with what he can do. Just take, for instance, the last time these two teams played. I think you remember the call. Patelli against DeLugos. More star power being provided on the faceoff draw between these two squads. Here comes Michael Meyer. Meyer trying to fend off the pressure that's being given to him by Rowan as this is sent back to the point. Patelli from the top. Couldn't get that drive to get off the ground, and so missed opportunity for the Tigers forces them outside of the Friars zone. Tittle plays this one off the boards and sends it deeper into the Friars territory. Patelli, centering chance, Tittle, save, rebound. The caroms back towards Patelli, but he sends it to Savaglio, and it trickles off a stick in front, and Tittle will have to play it off the corner boards. Right now, he's being hounded aggressively by Nicholas Olamia, and that stops play, and we'll see if this results in a penalty. No, it will not. We'll have a face-off draw, however, and both of these teams will bring out some new fresh legs to try to make this battle even more interesting as we progress throughout the contest. This thing will continue to peak as we get closer and closer to intermission. I think we already have the idea that it's going to be an emotionally filled contest just by Robert Lund's demeanor at intermission, attempting to regroup his guys in these next chunk of play, or chunk of time of hockey, as interference is called against St. Anthony's, and there you see Brady Monteleone, who was in the sin bin the last time we saw him in a top-seeded battle. He was all over Chaminade when it came to throwing the body, and more ways than one, it got a little too aggressive near the end. And Brady Monteleone, a surprising trend in that game when it came to the physicality, was amongst the most that caused a lot of the uproar when it came to those heated moments. As Monteleone is more known for his offensive arsenal than his physical prowess. That he, like, don't get me wrong, he's a physical player, but he's not a Derek Mackholtz where he's going to play with an edge all the time and try to create havoc and get your guys off their game. Like, he's not that type of player. Sean Tittle, again, swings this one off the end boards and back into the possession of Michael Meyer, who then returns the feed up ahead to Tittle. Tittle tosses it ahead, and it's carried in further by Savaglio to the goal, and he's stopped that time by Berhart. That clear attempt got negated right there by Tittle, who sent that shot skipping wide of the cage as Patelli tries to set something up from the left corner. Hansen back onto the stick of Patelli. Carmine Patelli. Dueling with Kata along the half wall as Hansen gets it back onto the stick of Patelli. But St. Anthony's is able to come up with the clear, and this will benefit them. And that may benefit them too, as Michael Meyer fanned on the feed attempt, and that almost resulted in DeAndrea picking him off. Patrick Rowan able to close the gap as Tittle was looking for a lane to send the feed to. Hard hit by the captain of all people, Jack DeLugos. Or pardon me, no, that was Anthony Carbone. Looked like number 28 from my vantage points. And we get a stoppage of play with Burhart covering it up. So we knew this game was going to be physical, and now we have an exchange between one of the Friars players from the bench and Angel Spinelli, who's currently positioned in his net. We have no idea what caused that little uproar between the two combatants, the goalie and the Friars bench. But we can only assume it's because of the stakes and the amounts of pressurized hockey these two teams play against each other. All we can think of is just these two teams. It's a newfound heated rivalry that was sparked through one close game, a all-out dominant display of offense by the Tigers in the second game, and I think St. Anthony's, they're coming into this game looking for a better results, as Colavecchio couldn't pound that one home on the feed attempt, or the feed by Monteleone. Bradley Gray got knocked down hard to the ice, and it won't result, a penalty will not result out of that, so no harm, no foul. And this game continues to escalate in the physical department, in the physicality department. We feel like the motion is only going to rise from here on, especially with the score being so tight at the moment. Once St. Anthony's got on the board, it's game on. Jack DeLugos, William Sanders. There's DeLugos trying to win the draw. He gets tied up right there on the dot as this one is punched down low. Cata will take control of it as he's being guarded right there by Meyer. Sent on goal, but this one just misses, but not by a lot for the Friars. They stay in the zone. DeAndrea just misfires on that chance. Cata wrapped up right there as he tried to set it back to the point where Sipley is located. Sipley keeps it alive in the zone, and he stashes this one. Oh my goodness, it took a weird bounce off the end boards and almost was laid perfectly in front for a Friar to jam it home. But luckily for Angel Spinelli, there was no St. Anthony's player in sight inside the slot to get the job done, and wow, that could have ended ugly right there. Talk about your playoff blunder. Shout out to Dylan Flynn for providing the entertainment here in Saugerties, New York. Tittle feeds it across. Patelli fires, he scores! Oh my goodness! A rocket by Carmine Patelli, and it's 3-1. An absolute missile by the former PAL Junior Islanders product. And the lead has been extended by 2 goals once again, and we've seen Patelli score many times like that. And I hate to say it for anyone that's rooting for the Friars. Once Patelli was wide on the wing, I had a feeling that it wasn't going to end well for the defense, and boy oh boy did Patelli make them pay in a big way. He scored in the semifinal game against Connecticut-Sayville, and he has just scored here tonight in the game against St. Anthony's, but with even more at stake. A state championship up for grabs in the coming days. So right now, it's just the impetus of this tournament.
Anthony, what's the point?
Or it's just the prologue of this, or it's just the, oh gosh, I'm getting my words mixed up. Well, let's get back to the game and play that's happening right now. Brecklin. And another massive hit thrown, that time by Michael Terry on Tittle. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking of. This is the prelude to the championship. You got to go through the gauntlet before you get to the main events. The way Northport Huntington is playing right now, they shouldn't have that issue whatsoever at getting into the main event picture. However, we've seen stranger things happen this year with Northport Huntington on the short end of the stick, falling to Connecticut-Sayville in the biggest upset of the season. Unfortunately for St. Anthony's, they still have a lot of time to bounce back in this contest. 9 minutes to go. Robert Savaglio almost scoring miraculously right there. This one gets picked off by the Friars, and here they come the other way. Jack DeLugos rings this one off the post. Rebound, the top, score! The Friars answer back. It is 3-2, and Angel Spinelli is upset as he pleads his case to the official, hoping for a goalie interference penalty, but that will not be the case, as Dominic Castiglione has changed the narrative once again, with the Friars closing the gap for the second time today. The first facing a 2-0 hole that was washed away by Nicholas DeAndrea, and then when it seemed like Patelli's goal was going to make it was going to keep the momentum going 3-1, they come back to make it 3-2. Vaughn Martin I know we saw in the picture, and it happened right in front of me. We're getting a penalty out of this, and oh no. Brady Monteleone for interference. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because we've covered so many St. Anthony's games, but I don't think I've seen someone with this much skill and display get thrown off his game. It's like, score! Carmine Patelli again. A power play goal and a quick one as he stuffed it home on the wraparounds. It's his second of the contest. And most importantly, the Tigers are back up ahead by 2, and it's a bad break for the Friars as Brady Monteleone's uncharacteristic style of play has continued on here in Saugerties, and so that will hope to be adjusted right here as St. Anthony's finds themselves down by 2 once again. And this time, Patelli's goal, although it didn't create the same amount of noise as the first one did, it's still as important as the first one, as it keeps his team in the lead. Carmine Patelli finished the year an outstanding season with 21 goals and 18 assists, finishing the season with a combined total of 39 points. Those were the total number of goals, that including playoffs. So Patelli was just an all-out monster all season, and the same can be said for Blake Hansen. Obviously, the numbers are a little different between the two. Hansen has the edge over Patelli, but as I mentioned before, not by a lot. Those two Titans just continue to wreak havoc all over the ice. But unfortunately for the Tigers of Northport Huntington, these are the final days of that glorious tandem, as Patelli and Hansen will be graduating in a matter of months. How sweet it would be for them to cap off their high school playing careers with a state championship, something Northport Huntington has not seen in quite some time, as we get another penalty here, and this will go for roughing. And it's Dylan Smith who is escorted to the box for the latest infraction. The third penalty of the contest by the Friars, and so the frustration for St. Anthony's star players continues. There are some things that we'd like to address about, just with everything with the way the Friars have been trending, but I don't know when the right time to address it would be. This is obviously a different team than what we saw that won the championship. The team we saw that won the championship was heavy power, dominant, always getting to the nets. They played well on the offense. Goaltending was really good. Ryan Burhart had a rough outing in Game 1, bounced back tremendously in Game 2, had an even better performance in Game 3, and then now what we've been seeing lately, you have to wonder. There are questions that need to be answered, that you want to be answered, in this case for St. Anthony's, as to why they're playing like this. But fortunately for them, they have time on their side right now. It's just at the moment, they're trending downward, and that trend almost continue to spiral even deeper down into the ground as Northport Huntington gets numerous chances on goal. However, the Friars are able to get a clear out of it, and this will lead to Northport Huntington attempting to reset. Jack Brecklin on the deep end, feeds it ahead to Paragallo, who then knifes it forward to Patelli. Patelli across, Mackles in front! And it couldn't be punched home right there by the late man Hansen, and this will go for another clear. Spinelli playing that one oh so carefully, and instead of giving it to Meyer, he pushes it ahead to Patelli, and now Meyer feeds that one wildly into the corner where Hansen will regather it. Hansen slamming on the brakes, gets it onto the stick of Mackholtz, down low. There's Savaglio moving in with a chance, and that one wouldn't go. Patelli sets it back to the point. Meyer firing, and that one skittered off a leg in front, and it's handled in the corner now by Tittle, who then sends it back to the point to Savaglio and gets return feed. Goes to play catch. Savaglio touched in front by Patelli, and it went over the nets. Patelli trying to dig it free as he closes on the hat trick. Airmailed ahead, and it couldn't be received well by Dylan Smith as it goes for icing. Or they're saying offsides. Well, regardless, it's going all the way back. We have a really good view up here at this facility. But even up here, there are some things that you may be missing and stuff. And luckily, Vinny Matula is here to be my spotter, my eye in the sky, to keep me in tune as to what needs to be addressed. Nicholas DeAndrea taking a plunge to the ice as he tried to get an opportunity to go. And now we get another stoppage. It's for icing, and as my guy Vinny Matula here pointed out, a little bit of jawing between Nicholas DeAndrea and Angel Spinelli after Spinelli almost got fully ran into by DeAndrea as he was trying to head towards the goal. And now we're getting this is an unusual sight. The face-off draw is being relocated back in the Friars zone. After everything that just transpired, this does not help their cause whatsoever as they try to find some momentum against this high-powered Tigers squad. This one's flipped back in front. Drive by, big stop made that time by Berhardt on the chance by Motherway. Fed ahead, Cata couldn't get a hold of it. Brecklin, full steam ahead, but it goes for icing, and this time the face-off draw will be taking place in the Tigers zone. Just under 4 minutes to go. We'd like to remind you at the conclusion of the period, there will be a 12-minute break for the ice cut, the Zamboni entrance, cleanup, whatever you want to call it. And then 17 minutes of hockey before we cap off the night with East Islip facing off against John Jay right here on LI Sports Network. And then we get to do it all again tomorrow, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, bright and early, with FDR battling Arlington, followed by another slate of Suffolk County High School Hockey League showdowns, beginning first with East Islip and Connect Quat Sayville. But first, we got to handle business. We got to take care of business here between St. Anthony's and Northport Huntington. This one is soared out of the zone by the Tigers, trying to recollect it and keep it on his stick as he's being hounded by Derek Mackholtz is Nicholas Alamia. Alamia, who plays for St. Anthony's, is a Saintsham native. And how do I know that? Because a few of his siblings are on the lower tier Sachem hockey teams, both JV and freshman. And shout out to those two young gentlemen who are watching this game right now. And now we get some rough stuff ensuing. Michael Terry, Carmine Patelli, and even Angel Spinelli was racing towards the fray to say, hey, not on my watch. He was going to go to the bench for the penalty, but from my viewpoint, it looks like he was going to make a beeline over there, just with the way he's been jawing at the Friars guys. But luckily that wasn't the case whatsoever, and now we get a lengthy discussion between the officials and so one thing we do know right here, the aftermath of the latest sequence, is that one penalty will be called a boarding, and it is going against St. Anthony's Michael Terry, who is the only player that's currently standing in the penalty box. We're waiting to see if Carmine Patelli will receive anything, as he was involved in the little quarrel with All right, so what we got here is another power play opportunity for the Tigers, as Michael Terry is the only one in that little dust-up that was hit with an infraction. So Patelli escapes from getting dealt with an offsetting penalty, which would have put both teams on an even playing field, with neither team heading to the power play. But that is not the case, as here we are with the fourth penalty committed by the Friars, and the fourth power play, most importantly for the Tigers, just beginning. Savaglio, Hansen, Patelli, Meyer, Tittle. And here come the Friars going the other way. DeAndrea got forced wide as Michael Meyer resets by getting onto the stick of Patelli. Carmine Patelli. It would be unbelievable if he could finish the job here and get a second period hat trick. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And now we have two players getting tied up in front. St. Anthony's advancing towards the goal. That was Alamia getting his chance on net. And now we have a penalty here, and this time it's Northport Huntington who's hit with a penalty. And it's Robert Savaglio who commits the infraction, or he's hit with the infraction, and this will put both teams at an even playing field. So it only lasted 1 minute for the Tigers in this latest power play opportunity, as we have about 1 minute of 4-on-4 hockey before this becomes a 1 minute power play for the Friars. And for them, a power play goal in the late moments of the second heading on to the third would be crucial, and that could give them a spark to change the narrative here in the third period when that time comes. However, at the moment, it's the Tigers who are controlling things, as Bradley Gray got driven into right there by Patrick Rowan, and St. Anthony's will attempt to reset cleanly. Pushed ahead, and here comes Cata. Cata tried to push the other way. Now Rowan comes into the mix. This one is popped into the corner. Bradley Gray takes his man to task. Coming into the mix, Jablonski trying to pinch in there. Still going. He's forced wide, couldn't center it to Monteleone, and it was picked off by that man who's carrying it back the other way, Mackholt. Derek Mackholt floats this one into the end boards with 40 seconds to go here in the second. 2-goal separation, or a 2-goal separation is the story between these two squads here tonight. Northport Huntington has the edge as they've done through one period of play so far. And that will continue on in the third period as the trend of them dominating this game will carry over to the third, and we get an offsides call here. 10 seconds to go. And all of us, everyone, and I mean every one of us, up here in the warm confines of this little house, and everyone that's in the stands in the cold atmosphere will be heading off into a different location for these next 12 minutes, as we'll take a lengthy break before we get the last period started. 17 minutes of hockey coming up right after these first 12 minutes of break time. Tigers up 4-2. You're watching day one of the New York State Amateur Hockey Association High School Club Tournaments on LI Sports Network. See you soon, ladies and gentlemen. The combatants have made their way back out onto the ice as we gear up for these final 17 minutes of play. But in the previous two meetings, with what we've seen when these two teams have gone head-to-head, it may not be a final 17 minutes of play. We could be seeing an overtime or a shootout. We don't know what to expect when these two teams collide. But one thing's for sure, compared to the last meeting, this one has exceeded those expectations. The Tigers piled on goals upon goals against the Friars back in the later half of the season, winning 5-0, led by a 2-goal game from Michael Meyer, a big goal by Carmine Patelli, and a shutout performance by Aiden Donnelly. So, obviously, we're seeing that similar trend, but although this is a little more competitive than what we saw the last time. The Friars have been answering the challenge, getting goals in the back of the net. We're seeing Ryan Burhart get some big moments in nets and make some big saves. Now the big question is, can they climb back and tie this thing up? They've come very close to doing that twice already, and that was immediately shut down with another goal that would extend the lead again by 2. We saw it happen after they led 2-0. DeAndrea scored, and then Patelli just ruined that chance for the Friars. And then the second time around, and the same thing, again, Patelli was on the good end once again for Northport Huntington. And now we'll see if that trend will continue on throughout this period, where the Friars close the gap and then the Tigers give it right back to them, or if this is going to be where the tides turned and St. Anthony's rights the ship and drives it into the right direction, where they could potentially either tie this game, send it into the deep nights, or steal a win heading into the second game of this tournament, which for them is going to be a tough task. A rematch with the East Islip Chiefs, a team that they both lost to and had the fortune of winning against. So there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders for the Friars for these next 17 minutes of play, but I think one thing's for sure, this will definitely be an absolute battle to the end. The time for talking is over, and here we go. Rowan, the Friars, beginning the first minute, the first few seconds of play, almost going the other way. Patelli back in familiar territory with a familiar line mate in tow. Hansen, one of the goal scorers of this contest. Another chance. Ooh, and that one got blocked. And shaken up on that block right there was Nicholas Alamia, and luckily he is okay, although he might get checked out for an injury, or we'll see his status, whether or not he is good to come back for another shift, which I presume that will be the case. He wasn't too badly banged up after blocking that shot. And that's what you got to do if you're a defenseman in these playoff games. You got to sacrifice your body. And right there, Nicholas Alamia, he knows the drill. And that's why he stands out as one of these good defensemen you'll see in the Suffolk County Varsity Hockey League. Another good defenseman, the captain, Jack Brecklin of the Northport Huntington Tigers. As Brady Monteleone has had himself an eventful game, but not in the way you would think. The total opposite of what we saw this morning, in which Monteleone recorded a hat trick and picked up a couple assists. He's done none of that except picking up 2 penalties for a combined total of 4 penalty minutes. And for Monteleone, he's hoping to adjust from that frustrating type of play to his skills, and wow, that's his 3rd penalty of the day of this game. And if you want to count the previous matchup for St. Anthony's before they hit the road for states, when they played against the Chaminade Flyers on Wednesday, Brady Monteleone had a few penalties as well, one of them being a heavy 2-minute, I think it was a 2-minute minor for similar type of play, just something very uncharacteristic. Yet here we are, 3 penalties for Brady Monteleone. Wow, talk about his stats. He scored 3 goals this morning, and he picks up 3 penalties here today in this game. I know that's not going to get a good reaction, but that is sad. It is the truth. Sad but true. So, Northport Huntington has a minute and 18 left on this latest man advantage. Their 5th one of the contest as they look to extend their lead by 3, while the Friars are looking to just close the gap ever so slightly as they've come very close to tying it up numerous times in this game. Paragallo try to chase it down before Gavin Cotta can get to it. This one is knocked ahead and carried in deeper by Hansen. Blake Hansen trying to shake off his man in front. That's Rowan. Rowan guarding him as this one is wheeled around the half wall. Patelli trying to get a hold of it. Hansen with the reception off the glove hand as he tries to skate closer towards the goal. Here's Hansen doing that and just missed. No, now they're saying, wow. Well, this has definitely caused a reaction of some sort. And this is a goal, or we have no idea what the ruling is yet. What we do know is that there is a conference happening amongst these 4 officials to decide whether or not the puck went in on that shot by Blake Hansen. And this will definitely be a tough call for the officials as unfortunately we do not run on instant replay, or they can't determine a goal based on instant replay. And wow, so this will be signaled no goal, and so what could have been 5-2 remains 4-2, and Hansen, well, a tough break for him as he seemed like he was going to be at the same level as his buddy Carmine Patelli with a pair of goals. That is not the case as the score remains 4-2 through 3 minutes of play here in the final period of regulation. Patelli at the point, and he winds, fakes the drive, gets it onto the stick of Hansen, down low in the same location where he was just before when it seemed like he had the goal in sight, or when it seemed like he had the goal before the end result. Brecklin pinning his man against the boards, trying to dig it out. Chata. This one almost took a dangerous carom off the body of Berhard, and then it's laid back across, but it couldn't be received well by the target in sight as Paragallo has to attempt to reset this one by getting ahead to that man, Brecklin. Brecklin slamming on the brakes. Able to knife it onto the stick of Hansen and then returns the feed to Brecklin. Those two play catch behind the goal as Hansen gets the feed onto the stick of Patelli. Patelli shifts over. Patelli sauces it over to Savaglia. Savaglia on target. Loose in the crease. Score! It's waved off, though, and it will not count. There will be a face-off draw happening outside of the zone, and it shouldn't be a surprise right there as Ryan Burhart was knocked down in the crease and had no opportunity of making the stop. So unfortunately, the Tigers had been pride of two goals that have been pried away from them, as the score stays the same as it did before, 4-2. So both Hansen and Patelli missing out on scoring opportunities here in the third period. 2 phantom goals for the Tigers in the first few minutes of the third. Derek Mackle's on his stomach trying to set something up as he was knocked down behind the goal. Eric Kraft and Jablonski having a disagreement behind the play, but nothing comes about those two, and here's Mackholtz floating it back into the deep end, where Jablonski will regather it, and there's Eric Kraft trying to take it from him. Mackholtz trying to come into the picture and steal it away. Kraft positioning himself still in that same location as Jablonski has trouble navigating away from the pressure. Kraft plays it back to Michael Meyer. Gray able to get it onto the stick of Mackholtz. Mackholtz dipping and diving. Kraft couldn't get the shot off, and the Tigers do get that opportunity towards the net, but it misfired for them. St. Anthony's, Gavin Cata charging in, slamming on the brakes. Cata got tied up right there by Paragallo, and he couldn't get the shot off. Getting shouldered into right there was DeLugos, as Sipley has to gather it again for the Friars, and Cochran will try to send it cleanly on the stick of DeLugos, who then tries to push it further. Tigers send it back in the Friars zone where Cochran will reset. Cochran sauces this ahead, but it couldn't reach the stick of Cata, and it's back into the hands of the Tigers, who have trouble of setting up a play of their own, and it goes for icing. Northport Huntington showing their displeasure with the officials about something that happened on the play. What we could presume would have been the icing call that was just recently signaled that allowed St. Anthony's to get some zone entry with that face-off draw as a result of the icing. DeAndrea pulls it back on his stick and sends that chance wide of the net, but not by much. DeLugos trying to corral it back on his stick as he's being battled hard right there by Jack Brecklin. The two captains, both with the same name, but one is entering this contest as a champion, and well, at the moment, that accomplishment is not paramount, as the score is the only thing that's important at this very second. And so Captain Jack Brecklin's team has the advantage over Jack DeLugos' squad, with a 2-goal lead with 9:40 left in the third. This one couldn't be sent into the corner cleanly as St. Anthony's tries to set something up down low. It bounces around in front and it forces the Friars out. Rowan resetting. He's able to push it ahead onto the stick of DeLugos. DeLugos winds, fires, and it couldn't reach the net. Another chance by DeLugos, and that one didn't get far either. Here comes Blake Hansen charging in the zone. Hansen being muscled off right there by Rowan. Patelli getting one towards the net, and it bounced around and almost got past Burhart. But luckily, he wasn't. He was not phased whatsoever as here's Tittle again. Gonna spin this one back ahead, and he did that with Hansen getting a chance, but that one didn't reach the net. It got deflected off a stick, and that prevents the Tigers from scoring. Monteleone able to fight off the pressure given to him by Gray. Monteleone couldn't navigate forward. Here comes Derek Mackles charging in. He scores! 5-2, and Derek Mackles flexes his muscle on the Friars. Cold. His second of the game, and one man on that Tiger squad has matched Patelli's number, and he did it in an emphatic way with that post-goal gesture towards the Friars player that was trying to prevent him from scoring. Colavecchio turning up the Jets, getting the chance, but not on net. Another penalty is getting called here, and we'll see who it goes against. Northport Huntington on the receiving end of the latest infraction, and for the second time tonight, Derek Mackholtz takes a trip to the sin bin. And you know this stat was coming because it matches up perfectly. Derek Mackholtz has the same amount of goals as he does, or has the same amount of penalties as he does with the same amount of goals. 2 each. A pair of penalties and a pair of goals for Mackholtz. While Brady Monteleone has the total polar opposite of what he accomplished this morning. A trifecta of goals against John Jay to kick off the tournament. And the second game is a flurry of penalties and maybe more. And we'll see who will be getting sent to the box after this little skirmish in the goal mouth. And surprisingly, two of them, the captains, Captain Jack and Captain Jack, both assessed coincidental minors. DeLugos and Brecklin, each getting roughing penalties as a result of that brief skirmish inside the goal mouth. I kid you not. Captain Jack and Captain Jack. That's one thing you'll probably never see again, considering Jack Brecklin is an impending graduate and Jack DeLugos is still in the midst of his later years of high school hockey. Backhand try, score! A beauty by Blake Hansen, and add him to the list of deuces. Deuces for Patelli, Mackholtz, and now Blake Hansen. Rock on, fellas. 6-2, Northport Huntington. And the ugly trend for the Friars continues as they find themselves down, trailing by 4. And despite Northport Huntington having to kill off the penalty, they are able to convert on the special teams units, but that goal by Blake Hansen, one of the more graceful and elegant goals you'll see by a hockey player this season. We talked about trends. Monteleone under heavy pressure along the wall. So Northport Huntington finished the season with 12 shorthanded goals. They have one tonight, and those 12 shorthanded goals were a league high total. This one is sent on goal, and a kick save is made by Spinelli to negate that opportunity against the Friars. DeAndrea got muscled into the boards, and we get a stoppage of play on the stop by Spinelli. Under 5 minutes to go. Face-off draw. Advantage to the Friars for a moment, but it's the Tigers. They're trying to finish off St. Anthony's in a major way. One player got taken down along the wall right there. Now he's back up. And it was the returning captain from the penalty box. One of the two Jacks, Brecklin. Sent on goal, and it's swallowed up by Spinelli. Angel Spinelli performing very well today. We haven't seen his elite playmaking abilities come in display in this contest compared to what we saw when he first came into the spotlight back in the second week of October. Derek Mackholtz, or not Derek Mackholtz, Vaughn Martin was taken down heavily right there. Olamia pushing back in the Tigers' zone, save made right there by Spinelli. Jack Brecklin Got belted into right there by one of the Friars. Watch out, Dylan Cochran! Tried to load the body on Tyler Paragallo, and instead Paragallo absorbed all of that physical energy. And oddly enough, Cochran got the worst of the hit that he was going to inflict, or that he was going to try to put on Paragallo. Oh, look out there, and John Core was belted into by Smith, and we get a cover up by Berhardt. Coming up at the conclusion of this broadcast is our last and final broadcast of this long and enduring, eventful day one of this weekend's New York State Amateur Hockey Association High School Tournament. And it's East Islip facing off against John Jay. Puck drop at 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the LI Sports Network. And honestly, we might be, actually, I think we're making good time. It's 10 past. I think the schedules say that the time of the games. We had a feeling it wasn't going to be accurate just because of games that may take long or that may go on a little longer. So, which is no issue whatsoever. All of us, we don't have a long drive to go back to where we're staying at this weekend. Our hotel is only like 5, maybe 4 minutes away, so we're good. Backhand feed wouldn't go that time, and that second chance from the top got blocked inadvertently in front. And we get another stoppage as the puck went out of play. Centering chance win and go right there by Mackholtz to his intended target as this one is flipped out of the zone. Smith will try to chase it down, but it's the Tigers who are handling this with caution as they throw it back into the deep end. Friars trying to get a hold of it, and they do. Patrick Rowan, one of the impending senior graduates, who left the Suffolk County High School Hockey League with a championship, and he's looking to have that same results, but in an even bigger form. At the States, Jack Brecklin, Gavin Cotta, but the official intervenes. Under 2 minutes to go. Colavecchio on the draw, but it's Northport Huntington who is able to advance it out of the zone. Gavin Cotta and Lentini on the ice trying to get their licks in the final minutes of play. Hard hit thrown right there by Carbone, but his target stayed on his feet. That was Eric Kraft on the receiving end of that blow. This one is swung back into the end boards, and it won't go for icing as we have reached the final minute of play here in the third period. Colavecchio back in the zone, and this remains in play after a redirected off a stick. One of the Tigers defending the zone successfully. Friars not giving up. That one got wheeled wide. St. Anthony's Save made by Spinelli. We've done a lot of things. We are here at LI Sports Network. We cover Long Island hockey. The demographic we usually reach to is Long Island hockey or the New York Metro Complex area. But we have to acknowledge the fact that we have people watching all over the world. One of them being in northern Canada, northern western Canada, British Columbia, Vancouver. I'm not going to say who it is, but all we'll say is that we thank you for tuning in and just being along for the ride with us. The Northport Huntington Tigers win it 6-2 in a dominating performance over the St. Anthony's Friars, as Angel Spinelli gets the victory and celebrates with his team as this heated battle culminates with traditional handshake line, which the two goaltenders will lead at center ice. Spinelli, Ryan Berhardt acknowledging each other for a good game despite the score for one team. And fortunately for the Tigers, they'll head into day 2 with a lot of confidence, while the Friars will attempt to rebound as their next matchup will be against East Islip. So that does it here for the 5th game of tonight's marathon. Our final matchup of the evening is kicking off very soon between John Jay and East Islip. Mike Calandra saying so long and see you in a few.